Welcome back, everyone, to GGN. This is part 3, the final part for today, for Monday, October 21st, 2013. It'll be a short video, but I have about 6 to 7 articles. And it's basically police state. There's a new gun that's been developed that shoots DNA bullets to make apprehension, or I guess abduction, of rioters easily. The gun produced by Selected DNA shoots what is essentially a paintball filled with synthetic DNA substance that allows police to later apprehend an individual when it might otherwise be dangerous to do so, like during a riot or large protest. While it might seem like a great idea, one must wonder what would happen if police mistakenly marked a journalist or another bystander. After all, just the mere presence of the synthetic DNA trace mark may be considered evidence that could lead to prosecution and conviction in court. From the 16th of October, radio beam device can disable car and boat engines from 50 meters. E2V has developed a non-lethal weapon that can disable the engines of motor vehicles and small boats at a distance of up to 50 meters in under 3 seconds. It says it's been integrated into the Nissan Navara and Toyota Land Cruisers, designed to temporarily disable a vehicle's electronic system and bring it to a halt. Such non-lethal systems are said to be particularly suited to stopping vehicles suspected as being used as car bombs. Yeah, I'm sure. It can also be fitted into, it says here, rib-type boats and into helicopters. They generate intense RF radio frequencies, pulses, and would. Says euphemistically said that these pulses confuse a vehicle's electronics, rendering them temporarily inoperable. Yeah, I wonder what it does to the human brain too. Does it confuse them as well? That's interesting. They said that basically the ECU, the engine control unit, once affected, will try and reset. I think the engine control unit, I'm not sure if it's the computer, but it may be the actual computer, which is what the brains of the car. A lot of cars now are like that. Police deploy 4 sniper teams in downtown Keene, New Hampshire for Pumpkin Festival. So there's no actual article, but if you type that in, that article right there, you can find it on blacklistednews.com, and they have some videos. Snipers conducting surveillance at New Hampshire Pumpkin Festival, so it just never stops, right? Then Chicago Marathon featured warrantless bag searches along the 26-mile track. Said unprecedented security was basically there. Everywhere you look, there's about 20 officers at the corner, about 14 helicopters in the air, said one marathon attendee. Man, look at that, dude. I guess those people are supposed to be like, oh, wow, I feel safe. He's like, yeah, I'm keeping you safe. Yeah. Continuing the trend of mass suspension of the Fourth Amendment at every possible event, police searched the bags of anyone that chose along the 26-mile track of the annual Chicago Marathon. More disturbing than their predictable push to eliminate privacy rights is the public's utter acquiescence in the face of a growing police state. This is from October 13th. There was a legion of police officers lined in the streets, more than 1,000 officers. They actually had federal ATF agents, U.S. Marshals carrying rifles, probably maybe snipers even, right? DHS agents were even littering the scene, performing searches with dogs. And they're all the same, right? They're all the same, just like the sheriffs and all that. They all look militarized. They all look like military. It looks like I said, these people, these libertarians and all that, they keep talking about martial law's coming. It's already there. There's your martial law right there. Do you need anything else? I mean, they're coming for your guns, right? It says that Grant Park was locked down with checkpoints and suspicionless bag searches. To add to the security theater, the race banned costumes for participants and only allowed runners to carry clear plastic baggies. Barriers and fences were erected in many places. They said it was much different from 2 years ago. So now you can't run out to say hi. Unlike in the past when police have looked the other way, says no one was allowed to help a marathoner finish the run in the last mile or two. Let's see what the veteran counterterrorism agent Michael O'Neill said. He's now part of the MSA security. The goal is to create a hostile environment for the bad guys. The race has no hard perimeter like in a stadium. I love that talk. Everyone should be in the paranoid, if you see something, say something mindset, according to O'Neill. Also, thousands of cameras monitor the crowds. They already had a lot of cameras in Chicago. We are going to have eyes on the ground on just about every foot of the marathon route, says the Chicago Police Superintendent. Oh, remember the Westgate Mall shooting? A video suggesting soldiers looted the mall, basically, the mall that was attacked. Security camera footage of soldiers appearing to loot goods during last month's Nairobi shopping mall siege has infuriated Kenyans who had initially praised the troops for their courage in battling the Somali attackers. The front page of the newspaper in Kenya read, "Shame of soldiers looting Westgate," under a caption, "Caught on camera." So, some were taking goods that appeared to be unpacked mobile phone boxes from a phone store, while others are in a mobile money transfer shop. So apparently those were the good guys. Now they're the bad guys. Trust in government nears record low, but most federal agencies are viewed favorably. I love that. These polls, I don't trust them at all. So just, 62% have a positive view of federal workers. Public trust in government, already quite low, is edged even lower in a survey conducted on just before October 16th. Agreement to end the government shutdown and raise the debt ceiling. So this isn't even an accurate statement, because remember all those things that were still open? They were saying, "Oh, the government shut down all the police state control departments and that. They were all up and running. They only shut down things like national parks for the people that the taxpayers. They were punishing the taxpayers like they're going to actually be able to do anything. Like they had actually some kind of involvement, in democracy." Despite highly negative views of the federal government overall, the public has favorable views of many of its agencies and departments which were closed by the shutdown. Again, that's not even true. So it's kind of sad, right? In general, the public continues to blame lawmakers themselves rather than the political system more generally. But the political system should be suspect, right? The system is rotten to the core. It's like Mr. Smith Goes to Washington or whatever. It's like, so these people that voted on this, why don't you go to Washington and see what kind of a shitstorm you're going to be walking into, right? And you think you're going to fix that? And so while you're away working, having a third of your income stolen by the federal government to pay these jackasses, then what? Are you going to be able to do anything about it? No, you can't. You don't have time for that. Representative Steve Cohen says Tea Partiers are the domestic enemies of the U.S. we took oath to defend against. So he's a Democrat from Tennessee, declared that Republican Tea Partiers in Washington are the domestic enemies of the United States, and he swore to defend the country against it in his oath of office. Came in response. So he called his colleagues rabid and sophomoric. He says they seem to enjoy shutting down the government. They reveled in it. Again, the government was never shut down. And you have to remember the Obamacare thing was trying to be forced, and they were holding the government hostage unless they passed it. So, basically the budget, they weren't going to pass it unless they included it. So, actually, that was the most sophomoric thing that you could possibly do. But it wasn't. It wasn't some kind of game. They passed it, and Americans lost. So, actually standing up to these people, the insurance industry, and these puppets that work for them, I guess that's considered, childish, right? It's childish to try to put up a fight. So now that they got this passed, now it's time to attack Tea Partiers. They think that there's some kind of guerrillas there to strike a blow for freedom. So, basically it's saying that you're ancient and you're backwards if you want to defend freedom. I think they'll try to pull this off again, and that's why they're doing that. That's why they're coming out with this propaganda. That's why Obama was saying don't trust bloggers and activists last week. New DHS Secretary, basically don't listen to him. New DHS Secretary Johnson signifies push for a civilian army. I believe this is the same guy that's saying that it's okay to go ahead and kill Americans without any congressional oversight or anything, as long as the executive branch deems it necessary. I'm talking about drone strikes. His grandfather was part of the League of Nations, the precursor to the UN. Said there's a risk in permitting and expecting the U.S. military to extend its powerful reach into areas traditionally reserved for civilian law enforcement in the country. The military should not and cannot be the only answer. I think Obama actually was quoted as saying that we want to have the biggest, I remember when he got elected, talking about a youth corps or a civilian corps, the biggest, most powerful next to the Army and the military. Anyways, that's all I have for you. Thank you for joining me. This is GGN at ggnonline.net. and DDarko 2012, DDarko 2013. This is GGN. I'm Darko. Thank you.